Hi guys, it's Becca, your yoga teacher and friend. Today we have a Yin Yoga practice, which I'm really excited to bring you. Totally different style. It's all about fully relaxing into the pose, holding it for a little bit longer. We're focusing on the hips, so opening inner, front and outer hips. Feel free to pause the video at certain points if you want to hold the poses a little bit longer and just take the time away, create a nice space, quiet room, blankets, mat, maybe even cushion, and just enjoy this really relaxing practice to help just release and find space around the hips. I will see you on your mat. So our first pose is the most active pose. A little bit like a low lunge position. In Yin it's called a dragon pose. So essentially you can come from an all fours position. You can step your right foot through and then come up into this kneeling kind of on top of the left leg, open through the front of the left hip. Right ankle for now can be just underneath that right knee. And then I just like to take both hands onto the knee, and you're not pushing down, you're almost kind of pushing forwards with that hand. So you'll feel that start to open the front of the hip. And then we're gonna just stay here for 90 seconds. So just target is front of the left hip here. You can relax that back foot. Our 90 seconds has begun, so perhaps here you close the eyes. Notice your balance and your breath. Trying to keep still and just focus on that opening of the left hip. Breathe. Not a forceful breath, but just a gentle inhale and exhale. And we've done our minute. We've got another 30 seconds. You can either stay here, you can ease out, pulling that left hip back a little, or if you're okay, just take it deeper. Let that right knee travel a little further forward, as long as that feels okay. And breathe, soften. Just focus on this left hip opening. Breath in and let it go. And then gently start to make your way out. So you can pull this left hip back, and then you can start to bring your left hand down, swivel that right leg back, and just take a moment here if you want to, just pausing kind of in a rebound pose. You can stretch out the left leg here and the right. You could even sit all the way down into a child's pose just to get the front of the hip closed and the forehead down, just for a couple of breaths. And then slowly bring yourself back up. We'll take that onto the other side. So dragon pose. So we slide the left foot forward this time, planting the foot underneath the knee, lifting yourself up. So the right hip is over top the right knee. Just to begin with, back toe can be untucked. Both hands top of that left knee. And lift up a little through the chest. Just keep some of that height, but then let everything soften in for 90 seconds. Focus on front of the right hip. Focus on stillness and just your breath. And we've come to your last 30 seconds. If you need to ease out, of course you can at any point, but you can bring it away now. Or if you're okay, you want to take it deeper, let that left knee travel forwards. Check out, feels okay, feel the front of the right hip open. Soft breath, soft gaze. And then slowly breathe in. And then exhale if the eyes are closed, blink them open, start to make your way out. You're going to come into another pose called a Sphinx pose. It's kind of a rebound pose, but we're also going to hold it for about 90 seconds again here. So bring your forearms all the way down onto your mat and then slide the knees back so that you come all the way onto your hips and your half your belly, bottom half of the belly. Make sure these elbows are underneath the shoulders. Hands nice and spread. So this is now opening the front of the hips. You're pushing down a little through the elbows, looking forwards, and then let the head soften a little here. So the focus is to open front of the hips, front of the body, the belly. Expanding in the rib cage as you breathe and extending through the spine. We hold it here 1 minute. Now if this is too high for the spine, just take the elbows a little wider or slide the hands a bit further away. If you're okay here, want to take it a little deeper, you can lift into seals. So you're pushing the hands down and starting to lift the elbows off. Pressing down through your pubic bone. Lifting through the chest, eyes closed just for the last 20 seconds. And slowly, if you're on the hands, lower the elbows. If you're on the elbows, take them nice and wide. Bring your hands one on top of the other. Rest your forehead. Give your hips a little wiggle here. You can even bend the knees and let the feet just gently, gently sway side to side. And then release the feet. Come back to tabletop, so bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, push into the palms, lift yourself up, and then just come to kneeling again from here. So our third pose is frog pose. For frog, it's opening through the inside thighs, through the groin. So you come onto hands and knees, and from here, essentially, you might want kind of 2 mats or to double up your mat. Just padding of the knees if you're working with a hard floor. You'll probably find if you're on carpet, maybe even a blanket underneath the knees. And from this all fours, just start to take the knees wide, directly out to the side. So you don't want them to come forwards or back behind the hips. Keep the knees in line with the hips. So you're just opening through the inside of the legs. And as you lower down onto the hands, you might be able to, or onto the forearms, you might be able to take the knees a little wider. And I want you to have hips and knees in line, knees and ankles, and then flex the feet so even the feet are a little active here. You'll start to feel it straight away. And your elbows and shoulders are stacked to kind of keep your body upright, and you can let the head drop. So just check if you can't feel it. You might be a bit far forwards, so you just send the hips back a little so they're in line with the knees. And it might be more comfy for you to actually point the toes and pull the heels in a bit and sit the hips back just to get that groin stretch. So child's pose territory, but just work with finding the sensation, that opening of the inner groin. You could stack your hands, fists on top of each other and rest the forehead down. So this is your frog pose. Opening through the groin. Take a few moments to settle in there. I'll come and do it side on as well. So feet flex, knees opening wide, forearms down, head relaxed. And we're just going to stay here for 2 minutes, starting now. So let everything soften. If you can't feel it in the groin, work with just widening the knees a little, or check that you haven't let your hips come too far forwards beyond the knees. Take them back, maybe send them back a little more. It might help to point the feet and almost point the toes in towards each other. But make sure you keep it in the groin area, the opening, your adductor muscles. Keeping the toes a little bit active just to protect your knees. If you're quite flexible, you might be able to bring the forearms a little further in front and even bring your chest down, but see just where you are. Maybe today you stay here. And working with frog is really challenging. Brings up a lot of mind chatter, a lot of distraction, a lot of kind of thoughts of wanting to bring yourself out of the pose. See if you could just keep body in stillness. Now you're here, unless there's any pain. Only want to feel this in the groin. Use your breath to work through the sensations that are coming up. Taking big breath in and long breath out. Again, breathe in, sigh out. And then start to make your way out. You could start to walk the hands forwards, coming onto the belly, and then sliding the knees back. And then from here, come into the same position just on your front, one hand on top of the other, and let the forehead rest. Just pause in stillness on your front body. And then slowly start to make your way up, slide the hands back, push yourself through all fours. And I'm going to come again side on. So the next pose is deer pose. So this is moving from the inside, we've done the front, we're going to work on kind of outside IT band, kind of outside of the hip. So from here, just come onto your right hip, and then slide your right shin forwards. So I've come side on again so you can see, but have your right shin kind of in line with the very front of the mat. So imagine this is my front of the mat. Your knee is just straight out in front of the hip. Foot is flexed. You've got the similar 90 degrees angle that you had with the frog. And then the same thing with the left leg. Open to the left side. Shin in line with now the long edge of the mat and foot flexed. So we've got this 90, 90, 90 angling with the feet. Bring your right hand next to your right hip. Left hand in front of the left thigh, and just take a moment to kind of push down, maybe lift the hip, right hip off a little. And then all we're going to do here is reach both arms up overhead. And then exhale, fold. You can bring the fingertips down in front of that right shin. Maybe this is as far as you go. Or maybe you start to walk the hands forwards. Maybe you stay here, let the head drop, keep the feet active. But let the rest of the body soften. So perhaps you keep walking forward so you can bring your forearms down and lower the head. We stay here 90 seconds. So if this is quite deep, you can feel it outside of that thigh, you could just come out a little by walking the hands to the right, as long as it's the right leg that's in front. Or to deepen, walk hands further out in front letting the body lower a bit more, or even walk those hands a bit to the left side. So your choice here. Use your breath, keeping the body still. Close the eyes. Last few moments, deep breath in. And then slowly start to make your way out. And then bring the hands just back behind you, let both legs just lengthen out in front. Pause here. You can give the legs a little wiggle if they need it. Or just staying in stillness, just to feel any sensations, any tingling that's running up and down that leg. Just observe. Notice that energy. And then start to make your way out. Just swiveling onto your left side. And for deer pose on the left side, you bring the shin in line with the front of the mat. And then right knee out to the right side in line with the hip. The shin along the right long edge of your mat. And same thing here, feet are switched on so the toes are lifted. Hands can then come right hand in front of the right thigh, left hand to the left hip. Just take a moment. You can even push down if the hip off. Just find that comfy position. And then here, inhale, sweep both arms up overhead. And exhale, soften as you fold. You can bring the hands down, forearms down. Maybe arms reaching a bit further out in front or to the right to deepen. Easing back in towards your body or to the left to come out a little. So experiment, find that place where you feel target is outside edge of this left thigh, maybe a bit in the right groin as well. And we soften for 90 seconds. Let the head drop. Let the body relax. Just be with your breath. Are you still holding on to any tension anywhere? Is the back of your head relaxed? Can you drop it so your chin pulls right in towards your throat? Last 30 seconds if you want to deepen at all, walking hands to the right or ease out at all. Adjusting and then coming to stillness. Taking your final big breath in and let it go. And then slowly start to make your way out, walking your hands in towards you. And then you can bring both legs just out in front. If they need a little shake out, they can have a shake, otherwise just curling into a little ball. Dropping your head. And then from here we come all the way down onto your back. Your legs can lengthen down your mat. Arms down by the side, a chance to observe, bring the body back into a neutral position. Close the eyes. And then our final pose, we're going to come into twist on both sides. So bring both knees in. So the feet plant, knees pointing up. And then bring your arms open to a cactus. So right arm out to the right side and fingertips kind of pointing behind you. If you want to take this deeper, you can. Just bringing the knees a bit closer or cross that right leg up and over the left. Otherwise, we just drop both knees to the left-hand side. Trying to stack right hip just up on top of the left. And then look over to the right side. 90 seconds here. So let everything soften. Let the body just to come into the twist. Nowhere else right now you need to be. Notice if the mind does start to travel, it often is tempted to take you out of what's going on right now when we hold these yin poses. Use your breath and your awareness of your body to keep you here. Keep you present. Bring the knees back into the middle. And then taking your supine twist to the other side. So if you want to, that left leg can cross up and over the right. Otherwise, let both knees fall to the right hand side. Hips can shuffle, so they're definitely in the middle of the mat. Looking straight up or looking over to your left side this time. Eyes can close. Everything can soften here and come to stillness for 90 seconds. Just check in. Has the mind started to wander? Still breathing. Still aware of where you are right now. And then your next inhale, slowly bring the head back up, bring the knees back. And then we take it into your final pose, your Shavasana. Arms can come long down the mat. Legs can lengthen down the mat. You can keep the eyes closed through this whole transition, sending the feet wide, almost as wide as the mat. Pentacle pose. Just let everything relax here, let everything soften. We're here for 5 minutes. Deep breaths. Shavasana. start to bring your awareness back. You can wiggle your toes, your fingers, circle ankles and wrists. And take a full body stretch. Reach the arms up overhead, point the toes. And then bring your arms down, bring both knees in, curling into a ball just on your back. And then when you're ready, roll to your left hand side. You could bring your palms together and rest your cheek just on the top of your hands. And then take your time to bring yourself up to seated. And then inhale, sweep your arms wide up overhead, palms together. And exhale, lower your thumbs down to your third eye. Thank you for spending your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that was really nice to just help slow down, to release, to just find some space in your body and your hips. Always feel free to pause the video in the poses that you really like to hold, and you can even time it yourself. And that's the beauty of doing this on YouTube. As always, do share this with friends, family, give it a like, hit subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.